G'day guys, this one is, oh man, I am stretching this paper collection as far as I possibly can. As you can see, I left this bit in so you can see how far I'm trying to stretch this layout. Now, this paper collection. This is the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Indigo Garden Collection. This one was my favoritist, if that's even a word. It was my holy grail paper collection. I just love it. It's gorgeous. I love everything about it. So I'm trying to stretch it, and I refuse to throw any of this away because I love the colors. I love the patterns. I love all of it. So I decided with this layout. Now I did leave it all in. Okay. Now there is a whole lot of, I'm trying to do it in power scrap style, but there was a lot of procrastination, I've got to tell you. One, because I was doing it before the end of the year and last year, and I was trying to sort of see what patterns I had, see where I could take this. So I'm kind of trying to line it up. That's the basic idea that I've got going on. I pulled in some Distress Oxide inks because I know that this background is going to need some extra work because all I've got left is strips. I've got a couple of larger pieces and I've got strips. So I did hyper speed through some of that procrastination point because I really did drag it on. So I've pulled out some Distress Oxide inks and I've got my white background and I've got, what did I use? I've used the PRIMA Secret Notes stamp. I've used the Darkroom Door Mini Marks stamps. I have also used the Uniquely Creative Splatter Marking stamp. The Uniquely Creative Grid stamp. That's the one I'm about to use now. And I used a few different Distress Oxide inks. I used Black Soot, Saltwater Taffy, Bundled Sage, Scattered Straw, Hickory Smoke, and Tattered Rose. Now, that all sounds like a lot of mumbo jumbo getting thrown at you. I generally prefer to keep my videos more lighthearted, but I wanted to let you know just how many different things I had to pull in around this Simple Stories collection because I'm getting down to brass taxes. There's not, believe it or not, even what was left after this, I still didn't throw it away because I reckon I can still possibly pull another layout out, and I reckon I can do it. So I have just gone to town and this looks like a big old mess, right? Always remember, when it comes to mixed media, trust the process. Every single thing with mixed media will go through an ugly phase before you come out the other side and go, oh, hey, that actually looks really good. Also remember, with all mixed media, you are going to cover a stack of it up with either ephemera, photos, titles. You might do some trimming down of some sort. All of those things put together, you're going to lose a lot of this in the background. You're going to have things poking out. It is, in my mind, too difficult to just try and just do the mixed media in the patches you want to see it in. For me, it's easier to just do a blanket of it in the area you want to show it in and go from there. So as you can see, there's a lot of mixed media on there. There's a lot of ink. There's a lot of texture, splatters, all that sort of stuff. It's creating a lot of movement and stuff in the background, a lot of texture, but there's no bulk to this. This particular layout has no bulk, and that's something I'm really trying to be conscious of coming into this year. I want to try and make a little bit, there's nothing wrong with having some bulk on your page, but there's also an element of going too far with it. Like you might just push the boundaries a little bit too far, and then you end up with these pages that are all warped to the point that they're so thick and chunky, they don't sit in your album well. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're crafting around our memories. So basically, I'm just trying to sort of draw your attention to create texture with other ways. So I'm using stamps, I'm using ink, I'm using different shades of different colors. Use your first, second, third generation stamping. You can use one color and get 3 different colors out of it. First generation is the first stamp, fully inked up. Second generation is your next stamp. Don't put more ink on it. That's your next one. And then there's third. You can sometimes get a really good shadow going. So you can create some really good looks with that. And sometimes that's, especially if you're going for a monotone look, like last year I really enjoyed doing some monochromatic layouts, and it's really fun to strip everything back to a monochromatic color palette. Because it makes you think about it completely differently. Instead of seeing objects, you're only seeing colors. So sometimes, I know I've got a stack of ephemera that I bought thinking that that's the way I wanted to scrapbook because that's what I was seeing other people doing. But that's not how I scrap. So I've got all these bits and pieces of ephemera there that I haven't used. Well, stay tuned, guys, because I'm going to show you what I do over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to show you what to do with those things. So they're not just gathering dust in your room. If you've done the same thing I have and you've bought things because 1, they were on sale, or 2, you thought you were going to use it more than you actually did, now you're stuck with it and it's taking up, let's be honest, valuable real estate. This particular packet of ephemera is exactly where I'm going with it. See how large those flowers are? I put them back in the packet. I haven't thrown them away, but they're too big for what I was looking for. I needed something more subtle. So I did buy the sticker book. So I decided to go back to something that I am more comfortable with, which is words. I like to use descriptive words on a page when it's not necessarily. So this particular photo, okay, this one was taken, this was actually taken during winter, and the evening sun was going down and it just looked gorgeous. And I love photos of sunsets and sunrises and change in the weather, you know, like after a storm, that sort of thing. And I love doing stuff like that. So, and I like to use the words. Don't ever dismiss, you know, these tags and stuff that are here. I won't use them as a tag, but I will use my scissors and cut them down and just use those to create thin lines and put these words tone on tone, and they're there, but they're not in your face. And that's really important too. Now, I just cut around that. I don't know why. Okay, so it's a sticker, but I meant to leave a white edge around it. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, so had to cut it out again because, you know, it's what we like to do, cut things out half a dozen times. So those 2 circles were just to break up the straight lines, pretty much. That's really the only reason I put them on there. And I thought, you know what? I could have used Sweetest. I did look at the letters to see if I could create a title, but unfortunately I've already used most of my vowels in both the pink letters and the gingham letters. So I have to think of something that I'm going to do with those because I'm not going to waste them. This year I want to use things up. That's what this year is going to be about, using things up. Doesn't mean you can't buy more. It just means that the supplies that you've already invested your money in, make sure you're using them, because maybe instead of buying another 3 or 4 paper collections and buying the full 12 by 12 collection, you may not need that. You might be better off by, investing in 4 or 5 inks that you like, the color of, that work with a lot of your photos that you're going to be using. You might think to yourself, well, maybe I should get those inks, and then maybe I can do some splatty things and maybe do some stamping, and that might work with the stuff I actually already have. And that might be the stepping stone that you need to be able to use up some of the supplies you already have. And then, of course, you've got an excellent jumping off point for the next lot of supplies that you want to buy as well. So, so I did struggle for a title for this page. I was going to make one on my Cricut, but then I thought, no, I want to try and use some of these thickers. I've got a stack of them sitting there, and I always go to my Cricut instead of my thickers. So again, it's money that's been invested in stickers or thickers. So why not get out there and use them? So that's my theory. Now I'm trimming all the edges down. See this piece? This is like one of the last pieces I have that's large enough. So this is how I'm going to get around it. Sorry, I didn't mean that to bing then. Taylor's just gone to pick Angela up from work. So, and I'm doing a voiceover while she's gone. I apologize. I don't mean to cough in your ear. This is a good way to get your squares and everything all done. If you lay it on top of another, use a really good contrasting color, like the black there, and you can line up your square corners and have it all perfect. And then look, I managed to give it a nice border, and here I did run around the edge of it with my sewing machine on a zigzag stitch, and I'm just pulling the threads through to the back and then just gluing them down. So this is in real time, so apologies, but I was trying to find my little hook, and then it's really hard to do this on camera because you kind of got to flip things over and whatnot, but I like to pull the threads through to the back, and then some people like having the messy threads at the front, but I like to have them pulled through to the back. That's just my preference. So if you give it a little tug, it pulls the loop through the back, and then you just hook. I use my Cricut hook and pull it through to the back, and then boom, bada bing, turn it over and glue it down. And that way your threads won't come undone, and you're done. I wanted to run the stitching around the edges because see, it's only a thin border, so I wanted to know that it was down and it wasn't going anywhere. So that is pretty much where I'm looking for some tape at the moment. So the reason I put some glue on this one, sometimes I use washi tape, but this time I was going to use washi tape, but I think I end up using painter's tape because I've got washi there, but it's super thin, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, this is all in real time. Sorry about that, guys. So I will give you my shameless plug now. If you are new to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I load up a new video. And I post 6 new videos every single week, original content, blah, 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 giving you lots of different ideas so you can hopefully keep your creative juices going, and you can keep scrapbooking and using those supplies and documenting those memories, because that does make a difference. I do remember this now. I did feel that I needed some darker splatters because I've got the dark in the photo. I've got the dark on the lines going across the page, but there wasn't a third dark element. So I just grabbed my black soot and my fan brush, and I'm just giving it a little tap just to get some very small dark splatters. I'm not a big one for doing splatters after the fact. I say it all the time. I don't like it when you get splatters everywhere, but I think it looks good, and that is my splatters done. So yeah, so there you go. I'm trying super hard to keep my mat clean. I've got a new mat in the background in case you haven't seen it. You didn't notice something looked different. You can get them from Amazon for $19. They're so cheap. They're awesome. And it's massive. It covers my whole desk. It's great. So here is the close-up for you guys. Don't forget, I've got links in the description below to Facebook, to the group, and to Instagram, and my Buy Me a Coffee if you would like to help support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with another video for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.